Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Being inside the Zionist prison is a dehumanization process.
On June the 30th, 2024, 32-year-old Hadeel Shatara was arrested and put under administrative detention in Damoon prison. Hadeel says she was held without charge or trial and was given no information as to why she was even arrested. 7 months later, as part of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, she was released with just as little information. She was not alone. While at Damoon, Hadeel says Israeli guards constantly tried to wear her and other female prisoners down, to break them. So, I want to know what it's like for women in Israeli detention centres. I'm Samantha Johnson, and this is Now You Know. We're dedicated to amplifying women's voices, stories, and topics we're all thinking and talking about. This is a safe space where we go all in, so by the end of each episode you can say, "Now I know." Israeli prisons have faced criticism from human rights organizations like Amnesty International for their treatment of Palestinian detainees, including women and children. Reports describe cases of physical violence, solitary confinement, and harassment by guards, as well as overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. Someone who knows what it's really like inside an Israeli prison is Hadeel Shatara. So, Hadeel, thank you so much for joining us on Now You Know.
Thank you so much for the invitation and the opportunity to actually be able to come here and talk.
I'm going to start off with this. How are you?
Doing great. Free again.
Yeah. You've only just recently been released from Damoon prison, and we will talk more about that. But first of all, I'd like you to tell me a little bit about what your life was like before you were imprisoned.
I'm a very social person. I love people. My life was filled with enthusiasm. I work at Birzeit University, and I love what I do for work because I'm the head of the alumni office at the university. So I get to travel, I get to work with amazing people, and I also get to socialize with all Birzeit University alumni around the world. So my life was full of experiences, of adventures, and a vibrant life.
So you had a very full, exciting life. I mean, to have everything just kind of pivot. Can you tell us what happened and why you were arrested?
I was actually traveling, and I was coming back home, Palestine, on the crossing borders between Jordan and Palestine. And as Palestinians, we have to go through a lot of checkpoints during entering or leaving Palestine. In the West Bank, we don't have an airport, so we have to go to Jordan in order to be able to travel. So I crossed the Jordanian checkpoint and the first crossing, and there I was stopped. I was stopped for 6 hours on a metal bench, and that was on the 30th of June, 2024. They made me wait for 6 hours, and then 3 intelligent officers came to me to announce that I was under arrest without telling me why, how, where they're taking me or anything. They just told me that there's an arrest warrant against you, and they didn't even show it to me and said you are under arrest now.
Israel uses imprisonment as a tool of political suppression, especially against activists and journalists. Do you believe you were targeted for your political beliefs?
No, I was targeted because I'm Palestinian. We're talking about existence. Their fight with us is fight over existence. They don't care about our beliefs. They don't care about what do we do. They really care about erasing us from the map. There's a whole genocide that is happening in Gaza. And they attack us and attack the prisoners because the real leaders of the Palestinian cause are the prisoners.
How did you feel in that moment when they were taking you away?
Living in Palestine makes you understand these conditions more, and makes you sometimes expecting such actions. So my first reaction was, if I am under arrest, then handcuff me. And they did. They handcuffed me. And then I was taken into a military base. No one would tell me where that military base is. I still don't know until this moment where that military base is. I was left in the street outside of the base for a couple hours, I think. They took my phones, they took my laptop, they took all my belongings. So I couldn't tell time. And I was blindfolded. And then they transferred me to another base, which is a prison. And it's only a place where they do the registration and then they send you to the prison that they're taking you to. So before Al Damoun, they took me to Al Sharon prison. And I spent the night there. But before, when I arrived, I was beaten. They started hitting me on my hands and my legs, and they started slamming metal doors on my chest. And then they took me to this cell that was the most disgusting place I've ever seen in my whole life. And I had to stay there for a whole night. No food, no water, no suitable bathroom. There's something that looks like a bathroom in the cell, but it's not for human use, of course. And in the morning, they told me it's 6 a.m. and then they're transferring me. They didn't tell me that I was being transferred to Al Damoun. And I arrived at almost 11 a.m. And I had to wait until 4:30 to be taken to the department where all the other women prisoners are. Being inside the Zionist prison is a dehumanization process. And it's a systematic process to humiliate the human being. It was really hard. And not knowing why am I there. So I had mixed feelings of anger, fear. But then I thought about it. And it's the moment to be brave and to be tough enough. They captured me. I'm between their hands. And the only thing to do now is to be silent, quiet, and to have the courage to continue what has started. We all have been mistreated, and we are all isolated. We're by ourselves. We're isolated from the world.
Were you in solitary confinement as well?
No. The first night, of course, yes. You're not allowed to see it, to talk to anyone, or to have any connection with the outside world. We're talking about a regime that does not care about any human rights. And with the war, things became worse. They can capture you for 8 days with total isolation from the outside world. The first time I saw my lawyer was after 22 days. My first connection to the world was after 22 days. And I was on VC, on video. I never got to see my lawyer in person. The Zionist prison system is designed to break us. This is a brutality of the occupation. It's a continuation of the genocide that our people in Gaza are facing. It's all connected together. The way you fight these things is by not letting this prison break you. And this makes us stronger because we're all living the same conditions and we're all together. And we know that this will end. Imprisonment will end. And we know that we will be free one day. So at that moment, you make a decision as a person there that I am with other people who are facing the same condition I'm facing. We're only going to be strong if we stay together, if we stick together, if we defend each other. Because we're all going to be facing beating. We're all going to be facing isolation, starvation, and all the conditions. So all the prisoners come together at moments like this.
Did you have any sort of contact with your loved ones, with family?
So since October 7th, 2023, the first attack that the Zionist administration took, and the first step they started with, was isolating the Palestinian prisoners inside the prison from the outside world. They took phones, radios, television, and any connection that connected the prisoner to the outside world. And for the first almost 7 to 8 months, We had no clue what was happening inside the Zionist prisons. I was still outside. And then lawyer visits started. So when I was in prison, we had few lawyer visits. So we had a small connection to our families, but that used to happen once every 2 months or 3 months. And some prisoners were not even allowed to have a lawyer visit or to get any information about their families and beloved ones. So we were disconnected from the world completely. There are moments where you're sitting there and you would just try to remember how your family looks like. And this comes to every prisoner, but you have to deal with it as if it's normal and you will remember. And there are moments of weakness. There are moments of sadness and fear. But then you remember that you are there for a reason. You are there for your freedom, for your country's freedom. And you're there for Palestine. So this would bring back all the courage and the fear would disappear again. Mm-hmm. And you would eventually remember all your family and all the faces, and it will come to you. And sometimes you do feel like, okay, I don't think I'm going to get out of this place. I think I'm stuck here forever. You get these moments. Mm-hmm. But then you look around you. You would see mothers. You would see daughters. You would see students. You would see old ladies and grandmothers around you. And you remember at that moment that, okay, I'm here. I'm strong enough. I'm tough enough. We're all here together. And I have to be strong for them too. So you gain all your hope back. You gain all your resilience back. And you would feel stronger, actually. And you would come out of this experience stronger, definitely.
How did you all connect?
We were only allowed to leave our cells for 1 hour a day.
Wow.
And during that hour, they would let 20 to 25 women prisoners to leave the room to take showers. We only had 6 showers. The showers were not inside the cells. They're outside. So you have to take a shower during that hour and to check on the other girls and the other prisoners during that time. They tried to make the communication impossible for us, but it didn't work.
I was going to say, something tells me that you didn't let that happen.
None of us did, because each group of girls would come out for an hour. So we had 4 hours because they divided us into 4 groups. So we used to go to each other's doors and to run to the doors and check on the girls and make sure everyone is okay. And the cells were really, really small. What they tried to do also is they turned the rooms into isolation rooms by covering the fences and the holes that we used to talk to each other through with plastic covers, with hard plastic covers. So they tried every possible way to not only isolate us from the outside world, but also to break the ties between us and to isolate us internally. And allowing that to happen means that we're falling down. So it was a challenge. And to keep going and to stay in a good mental and health condition, we had to fight this.
Can you tell me, again, being women imprisoned, can you just tell us the unique ways on how it would be difficult for female prisoners?
I mentioned the isolation and I explained how they isolated us from the outside world. The second thing they tried was starvation. I lost 22 kilos from my weight. We're talking about more than 45 pounds.
Wow.
We're not allowed to make our own food. We don't have any food materials to put our food in. You only get a plastic plate and a plastic cup. These are your belongings. And they used to give us a plastic fork and a plastic spoon, but the fork was not, we never used the fork for food because we were not allowed to have hair brushes. So we used to brush our hair with the fork. Yes. There is no cleaning materials. We were not allowed to have any cleaning materials. It was a way to spread diseases among the prisoners. We only had a small packet. Do you know the Castere shampoo that you get on your way in a mall or something? This is the only shampoo we got. And we used to get a pack for a day. They gave us dishwashing soup once or twice. And we celebrated that. little things mean something inside the prison. We know that female have needs, women have needs. And we used to suffer to get toilet paper. We had to fight the administration for bags every week. And we had to hide some. So when our period comes, we'll have some bags to use. And you're not allowed to hide anything or put anything on the side. You have to use everything they give you or they won't give it to you. So it was a challenge to explain that why we need bags, why I still didn't get my period, so I didn't use these bags yet. And I'm going to use them in the coming few days or a few weeks. And you had to explain that. We had no privacy inside the prison. They would raid your room at 3 a.m. and they would start strip searching us. So strip searching was another systematic policy that they used against the prisoners. And it was inhuman. It was very disgusting. We didn't feel safe inside ourselves. Their male guards would come into the yard and into the prison yard in front of our rooms, out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, just taking a tour to look at us while we were sleeping. And we're talking about most of the girls that I was with, or the women I was with, were hijabis. They wore hijab. So that was an invasion of privacy. We had to stay conscious all the time, just not to have this fear of feeling attacked. And there was no respect for us being women inside the prison.
Was it all male guards?
No. There are a lot of female guards the female guards is to strip search us.
Okay.
So there's another invasion for our privacy in a different level from the female guards. And the female guards used to take tours around our rooms every half an hour just to check on us all night. They used to control the lights from the outside. So we didn't control our lights. They used to turn off the lights at 10. If they want to turn it on at the middle of the night, who would stop them? They would just leave the lights on if they want.
When you were finally released, what was going through your head?
A lot of questions just would run to your head, stating that what's going on? Is there a ceasefire? We didn't know because we only found out that we're going home on the same day.
Oh, really?
Yes. We only found out that we're being free on the same day of our freedom. And that day was the hardest day in the prison because we were dragged by our hair during the process. We were strip searched. We were humiliated to unbelievable levels. So the whole process, it took them 12 hours, and we lived in hell for these 12 hours. It was a journey of hell going home.
So the moment when you should have been elated that you're going to be released, you still went through abuse, physically,
Yes.
mentally.
Yes. And this is the Zionist system. This is the Zionist regime. This is the true face of Zionism.
So you're a free woman now. Who was there for you when you left prison, when you were finally free?
My whole family, all my friends.
Oh, man.
I had a lot of people waiting, thousands of Palestinians in the street. I don't know most of them, but when they see you wearing the prison outfit, they would come to you, oh, hey, we're happy that you're out, shouting everywhere. And then I saw my mom and my dad standing there, waiting for me, my sisters and brothers, and all my friends. It was tense moments because I had mixed feelings that day. We left 10 girls inside Al-Damoun behind us. So leaving all these people behind, knowing what they're facing on a daily basis, puts you in very mixed emotions where you're free, but your freedom is not complete until all these people are out.
What do you want the world to know about the experience of Palestinian detainees?
I want the people to know that this is not a normal experience for any human being to go through. this brutality is still going until this day. These crimes are still being committed until this day. And the only way to end this ongoing crime is by being collectively responsible for putting an end to it, for exposing the Zionist entity and its actions against the Palestinian prisoners and against the Palestinians in general. And I really want everyone to be part of it and to fight alongside with us to show the world what's really going on and to put an end to it.
Hadeel, thank you. I appreciate you telling us your experiences, your story, the way you're doing it with such light positivity, with such strength and courage. Thank you for joining us on Now You Know.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a great opportunity to speak and to let the world know what's going on with Palestinians. So thank you for making it possible.
So now you know what conditions are like for female prisoners and detainees in Israeli detention centres. A huge thank you to Hadeel Shatara for joining me today, and a special thanks to you for watching and listening to Now You Know.